Hi, I'm Noah.
And I'm Steven.
And I dragged Steven down here today to talk about virtual reality, augmented reality, and what that means for us in the future. And I wanted to talk to you today, Steven. I appreciate you being here.
Yeah, of course.
It's about 3 industries. Retail, sports, and construction.
Yeah.
And the random industry, but the reason why I picked those is because people, there's a lot of room for VR and AR that I think people may not be fully exploring yet. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit first about retail, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about virtual reality, augmented reality, and what that looks like in the retail space.
Yeah, so it's really interesting. So virtual reality is obviously where you have a headset and it's a totally virtual world that you're immersed in. Versus augmented reality is when you're seeing what you would normally see, but you have a digital overlay of a heads-up display or advertisements or whatever it is. You're seeing digital things in the real world.
It's like Pokemon Go.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Like Pokemon Go, but hopefully better in the future.
Okay. Yeah.
And so when you look at retail, it's really interesting because there's always been this conflict between online and brick-and-mortar retail. Right. But VR AR plays a very interesting role in that because things like Amazon Prime Now, where I might be shopping at home or online, become totally different if I have a virtual reality headset, where I could have a virtual store in my home. Suddenly browsing becomes a lot different experience in the home if I'm going through a virtual store. On the other side of things, though, in brick and mortar, augmented reality has huge potential for changing the way that we shop in an actual physical store.
Yeah. Now, is it weird to me that seems, the virtual reality side of things seems a little bit almost lonely and isolating, whereas the augmented reality in the store seems like a way to augment kind of like an in-store shopping community experience. If I was a retailer, which of those 2 directions would I be looking at going down?
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting. You see retailers doing lots of different things as online has become more and more prominent. Some people going entirely online, some people really doubling down on their in-store experiences. And it's really interesting because the answer is both. Because you need to understand both. As any modern digital brand, you have to recognize that people want the convenience of online, but a lot of people also still have this desire to go in stores. You see companies like Bonobos who are doing really interesting showroom concepts where you go in, you try something on, but you can't buy it in store. You're actually getting it shipped through an online platform. Yeah. So VR and AR leave a lot of openness for brands to basically use these tools that are going to be coming out to enhance their brands, enhance the experience, and bring that online and in-store actually closer together.
There's a part of me that is picturing like going into a Lowe's, for example, and seeing these big red arrows flashing and saying like "sale here."
Yeah.
But I don't know that actually improves my shopping experience. Where's the line between improving a shopping experience and just selling more stuff? It kind of reminds me of like pop-up ads in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that part of that also has to do with how data and online shopping is also changing things. So on an online storefront, you might get specific recommendations that are tailored to you. And I don't know about you, but sometimes those are actually helpful to me.
Absolutely.
And so the question is, like, maybe you're walking into a Lowe's, but maybe it's not that everyone sees the same sales when they walk in. Yeah. Maybe Lowe's knows your online shopping experience and knows that you're probably there looking for, wood screws or something. And so it directs you there. Yeah. So the idea of like having not only that augmented reality experience, but having it tailored to you specifically could really enhance that in-store experience versus just whatever the display when you walk in the entrance happens to be.
And it's also interesting that with augmented reality, now I know with geotagging and things like that, I know where you are, but I also know what you're looking at, which I feel like would probably improve a store experience in a similar way.
Exactly.
Could you tell me a little bit about sports, right? You and I are both big sports fans. Yeah. You were telling me something interesting about Stanford. Can we start with that?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the really interesting things about Stanford is that the quarterback's coach actually uses virtual reality as part of the coaching program.
So cool.
Yeah, it's really awesome. So when they do practices, sometimes they'll record using a GoPro from the quarterback's point of view. And so instead of going and reviewing tapes, which is a classic coaching thing, you can actually have the quarterback put on the headset and in real time look at the decisions they made and the decisions they should have made and provide coaching from that first person perspective, which really changes the way that you start thinking about how you're coaching, not just in football, but in all kinds of sports.
And in as a avid Atlanta Falcons fan, I can very easily see a scenario where that technology would allow me to watch the Falcons lose another Super Bowl. Is that like, how far away is that? And is that something that we're eventually working towards? My ability to like look around and see what the quarterback sees?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's definitely a possibility. And as you see, especially VR headsets become more and more ubiquitous in households and actually a normal household item, the entertainment industry, especially for sports, can totally get in on that. And you could scroll through different players on the team, see different perspectives, see things from the referee's perspective, see why that flag was called. Like, it provides a totally new, more immersive experience that wasn't really possible before.
It almost feels like a video game.
Yeah.
Which I know there's a lot of stuff being done in AR and video games right now.
Yeah.
But the crossover to real life is going to be very, very exciting for sports fans.
Exactly.
Both casual and serious sports fans.
Absolutely.
Finally, I know this is a little off the wall, but I wanted to talk about construction.
Yeah.
And because there's a lot of different elements of construction, and it seems like there's a lot that could be done to help in the VR and AR space.
Yeah, I think this is one that definitely surprises people, but I mean, if you think about an architect who traditionally might be just drawing things up on a drafting table, what does architecture look like when you're in a headset and you can see your building at scale and you can adjust windows by pinching and dragging, and how does that change the experience of design? But then also, when you look at the actual building, if you start to have heads-up displays for construction workers, if they have a vision of what they're building, or you can help them with technical things, such as like where electricity leads are going or how welding's being done, it can totally change the way that you build things. And then all the way at the end, too, it can change how you furnish them. You could walk in and like use augmented reality to look at different colored walls and choose your paint color, or substitute different sofas in or cubicles and look at different arrangements, all virtually without ever buying anything.
Well, I know that IKEA is playing with this right now. They have a little, like, you can put a lamp on an end table and see if it matches with your...
Totally.
That is very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Is it going to change the way that people make purchasing decisions?
Oh, I definitely think so. I think that that's one of the great things that retailers especially can leverage, is you're more likely to buy something if you can experience it, and it provides more value to like the tactile nature of things and actually being able to see it. And if you can imagine yourself owning that object or having that lamp in your room, that could totally change whether you buy it or not.
It's amazing. Thank you, Stephen. I
Absolutely.
appreciate you taking the time to hang out with me today.
Noah.
Thank you guys for watching.